Alright, this is Marshall PC Wabash with a May 2023 garden update. I think it's the 13th. Just got done transplanting my tomato starts that I grew. Got 6 Jetstar tomatoes, 2 Roma tomatoes, and some Bella Star tomatoes. Also planted a brand new row of bush beans to go along with the 1 row on each end of garden beans. They're about 3 weeks apart, so I don't have to overdo it when it's canning time. Then I got my greenhouse stuff over here playing with that, trying to learn something. And I just planted the potato row yesterday, so we're going to do a little walk around. I bought that sprinkler, and it throws a wide enough path to cover the whole width of the garden and the length of it. So my one little sprinkler does, 10, 20, 30 by, let's see, that's 10, 20, 30 by 20, I guess, something. So first stop, just planted these yesterday as my Pontiac Red tomatoes. I tried planting 5, 2 of them came up. They had zucchini, and like I said, on each end of the garden I got a row of bush beans, or that's garden bean. Bush beans I just planted. Now, I saw this on Living Traditions Homestead. I said, now that is the cutest bok choy I think I've ever seen. They're baby bok choys, and they're taking, they're starting to do their ball thing. I transplanted these, so they're coming along quite nicely. This is a variety of lettuce called Tom Thumbs. They're probably about ready for harvest. I think there's 3 in this bucket, and that was some greens that I planted. I transplanted the squash. Last week they was starting to outgrow the little 4-inch pots I had them in, so I put them in there and they're pretty much taking off. So I'm happy with that. Oh, I just got nailed by my sprinkler. Now we're going into the hobby greenhouse. I did a video on it, but I don't think I ever actually did a follow-up of its completion. But that's the hobby greenhouse by Grower Solution. I have a roll-up wall on this side. Bought the door at Lowe's in the wood, but Sandy helped me pull the plastic over. But when it came to building, I did that, build it myself, and used a DeWitt ground cloth as the floor. Saw that on Living Traditions Homestead too. I've had it up for, I guess this would be the 2nd year I've had it up, and there are no weeds coming through this floor at all. This stuff is good. Now what we have in here on my little heat mat, these are okra. Didn't have much success. I got one coming up, and that's some radishes. I got watermelon over here, and this one I ain't seen them yet. That's my seed from my watermelon, so they might not come up. So we'll see. We're just trying to be patient. I believe this was a cauliflower. I'm going to transplant this tomato out of one of my little 4-inch pots because I thought I was going to lose it. So I put it in here. So I'm going to grow this one in the greenhouse. And these 3 are garden beans in these 3 5-gallon buckets. So I'm going to try to grow these 3 in the greenhouse, just playing, experimenting. This one looks like it's coming along quite nicely. So we're going to walk on out here again. My little strawberry tower. Got that from Gurney's. But I got a couple strawberries on them. I need to put a little expanded miller or something around it. Squirrels try to beat me to it, so I gotta beat them to it. But I had originally 25. Some I think squirrels got into it, but there's a few that survived, so we're gonna roll with that and see what's up. Water's coming back at me, so we gotta take time out for it to go back. I only water for 15 minutes, so I turn it off, but I wanted to get some water on the plants that I just put in the ground. Alright, that's a row of corn. I went through there and I got maybe 50-60% coming up. The garden bean row, that's doing quite nicely. That row right there is container bush beans. Okay, I'm back. I'm in the garden. I turned off the sprinkler. That's my regular old garden bean. Burn a hole in this DeWitt ground cover like I saw on Living Traditions Homestead. I gotta tell, they did give me some good information. I just took it up and run with it. And I tell you what, last year, you see the holes. You burn them in being woven ground covers, a different type of material than that felt stuff. So you burn it, it seals up the hole. So the only weed you got to worry about is what comes up through that hole. But once the plant takes over, it smothers them out. But I got some corn coming up right there. About half of it came up. And I got some buds. My two little squash plants. I don't grow much squash. I like it, but we don't eat it all the time, and I can can it and save it. Now, let's see. I just started these. That one started looking a little peaked on me yesterday, so I figured it was time to get stuff out the bucket. I don't know if it's going to make it. But that right there is supposed to be jalapeno. I don't know. That's on the package. These are the Bella Rosa tomatoes right here. Buried them all the way up. So hopefully we get a good healthy stem out of it. These right here are the Romas. These three. And 1, 2, 3. These 6 are Jet Stars. They'll grow as tall as the kennel if they take off good. These 4 right here are butter bush squash, I believe. And then I have a row of greens. Those are Southern Giant greens. And the other one, the purple one, is the Japanese variety of greens. But they are coming right along. I'm going to grow them up. I can can greens too. I didn't know that till last year. So, that's the little garden tour. Alright. I'm out in what I call a mini orchard, because I don't have but acre land here. So, this right here I bought from Green World, I think, out in Oregon. And it was just a kind of a rooted, live root cherry tree. But it's 3 years old now, so it's coming along. Had a few cherries on it, but I think the birds or the deer are picking them off as fast as they get on there. But, oh well, I had to do something about that. You see, there's a little cherry right there. There's a couple. Alright, then we come over here to the apple orchard. I got 3 apple trees. I got one from Green World. This one right here I got from Green World. Originally it was from Gurney's. That's my pollinator. I believe it's a Liberty. Yeah, Liberty. And the way the wind blows in the yard typically is in this direction. So I space them about 15 feet apart. I got Granny Smith over there, and I think that's a McIntosh over there. So I planted the Liberty upwind, so hopefully if bees don't do their business, I can get some pollination by the wind. But these trees are 3 years old now, so, and they're all kind of dwarf trees. And they say don't let them produce nothing till after 3 years old. But let's see if I can get in here. There's one. I got a little apple, and one apple there, and one apple there. So I didn't let it do a whole lot of producing because I didn't want to put a whole lot of stress on the little tree. But I got 3 apples. And we come over to Granny Smith. I haven't seen no apples on my Granny Smith. This is supposed to be a, what do they call it? Is it Gurney's? It's an easy reach. Not supposed to get very tall. And then my third one over here is a McIntosh. I don't know if it's, I mean, it looks alive, it looks good, but I don't know. We'll see. But only time will tell. They're 30 years, so they're still young trees. And then I walk over here too. Now this blueberry bush I got from Garner's too. It's their K blueberry. I gotta do a little work at the bottom, extend my netting down, but right now it's holding up. The only way I keep the birds out of it was I put up some bird netting. I hammered these fence posts in the ground. I have a couple stakes around the bottom holding it taut. Need to come back with some zip ties and close up a couple gaps because I pulled it up a little bit and did some weed eating around it. But I have an expanded metal roof, keep them from coming in out the top, bird netting from the side. And it was leaning over into the netting, so when I pulled it up to weed eat, put a couple of tomato stakes in here because this bush was actually pushing way out here, and the birds could pluck it from the outside. So I put a couple of stakes on it. Get down marvelous little clusters of blueberries. They're all over it, from top to bottom. It's the same as the other one. This is a 3-year-old berry bush, but I got about a pound out of it last year, I guess. I put it in a Ziploc bag and froze them. But that is coming along. Come July, when we do the next garden update, they should be ready for the picking. That's it for the May 2023 garden update. We got stuff in the ground. Everything that's in the 5-gallon buckets is staying in the bucket, except for them starts on the table. If they take off, I got radish, 2 different kinds of radishes. Need to transplant them. I got some room left, so maybe I'll put, I don't know, a couple of Roma tomato plants. Sounds good. They grow pretty feisty. Alright, well, bugs starting to come out. 8 o'clock, 8:30. Alright, it's Marshall PC Wabash. I'm getting out of here before the bugs get me. Later.